Plans for a radical crackdown on graduate visas that allow overseas students to work in the UK for up to 2 years after graduation look set to be abandoned by the Prime Minister after coming up against staunch opposition from cabinet colleagues. The British Prime Minister has been considering restricting and even scrapping the graduate visa route as a way of reducing migration figures, but he is now expected to opt for more modest reforms to close loopholes and prevent abuse of the immigration system. Among the measures under consideration is a clampdown on the recruitment agents that market British degrees courses overseas, with penalties for those who fail to supply the type of students they promise, according to the Financial Times. Foreign students who use the graduate visa route to stay in the UK at the end of their studies could face mandatory English tests, according to The Sun, which also reports that universities and colleges with high dropout rates could lose their license to recruit overseas. So apparently, it seems that finally the British Prime Minister is listening to advice, even though it's coming a bit too late, because if in as much as him and his party they are focusing on the national vote or the national election, they are still going to fail woefully, because it is already very hard. It's already very difficult. He would have listened very much earlier. His party would have gone far more by doing some damage control before the local election, of which they lost woefully. And even in this national election, they are still going to fail woefully. And it equally shows that the incoming Prime Minister, because it's very obvious that he's not going to win, his party is not going to win, it is equally obvious that the incoming Prime Minister, if he does not win, will have a whole lot of work to do. At this point, it equally means that the universities will now go back to drawing board and look for lucrative programs, how the measures they are going to take to encourage international students to be patronizing them again, because it's not going to be easy. They have a whole lot of work to do. And it equally means that when this modest reform is done, the agents that are bringing international students to UK must abide by the laws or face penalties, of which the penalties are not going to be funny. So it's already good that he's breaking down from some of these reforms, because it's not funny for the UK labor market, it's not funny for the creative industry, it's not funny for the universities, and it's not funny for the teachers that are being laid off because the universities can't afford to keep them. So at the end of the day, at least this is a bit of good news for the universities and the teachers and the creative industry in the UK.